Oh hey, it's Barry. So Nintendo really wants to drop their Nintendo Switch 2. We had reports that it's been delayed. It was supposed to come out this year. There's a whole bunch of things lining up saying that it was planned to drop this year, but it seems to be delayed till next year, in part to combat scalping, and they also delayed it to avoid shortages. They want to have more consoles on hand for people to buy, making the whole experience for Nintendo fans and getting the console much easier when it does release, because we all know PlayStation 5 has run into a whole bunch of shortage issues in the start of its launch, causing many fans to have to go through backdoor methods and contact sketchy dealers and stuff to get their PS5. Some also got robbed, and that's just not a good look, not a good thing for the gaming community. Also, the original Nintendo Switch ran into some issues with shortages and demand supply as well, causing a lot of headaches and stresses for Nintendo fans just trying to get the consoles, especially earlier to release and earlier in its launch cycle. So this is actually a really good thing that it's being delayed. But Nintendo has a whole bunch of new leaks and reports coming out about their consoles, and I thought I'd just make a quick video rounding up everything that we know from all across the internet, the interwebs, and make a full comprehensive video so you know what's going on with Nintendo right now as we speak. But before we do, I'd really appreciate it if you guys could just smash that like button, hit that subscribe bell, and without further ado, let's get right into it. So it's really been 7 years since the Switch first launched with its game-changing design, and the latest figures for the Switch sold are 139 million units, which is a whopping 40 million more than the Nintendo Wii that they sold. The Nintendo DS has sold the most at 154 million, but at the end of the day, Nintendo Switch is on track to be one of the best-selling consoles ever, and has outsold some of Nintendo's older classics like the Game Boy, like the Wii. And the Switch 2 is expected to launch early 2025, but we do have a specific date on that. It seems to be coming out in March 2025. That's the date that is rumored to at least be announced, or probably not released right away. It probably will be announced at first. They give you a couple months and then you could go get it. However, they're targeting the March 2025 release date, and the Switch 2 launch could get pushed back if Nintendo deems necessary, as they did push it back from the 2024 release. But news of potential 2025 release came, and it's been reported the price of the console is expected to be around $400, with games priced at $70 like on the PS5 now. That's according to Serkan Toto, respected analyst from the Tokyo-based consultancy Kantan Games. So the price of it is going to be a bit more expensive, but that does seem to be okay, as the specs we're going to talk about in a minute does seem to be a bit more substantial, get a bit more boost in performance, get to see Mario at some higher resolutions, which I'm sure a lot of Nintendo fans are excited for, because Nintendo does have the beautiful first-party games that makes us want to play Nintendo systems. It is thought that Nintendo moved the Switch 2 release window to next year, so it also has the strongest possible launch lineup. Third-party developers has reportedly been briefed on the plans as well, so hopefully when the Switch 2 rolls around, we do get a plethora of games to play. Hopefully there will not be a shortage in that aspect. But speaking about the specs on a Switch 2 is going to make visuals comparable to the PS5 and Xbox Series X, and supports ray tracing with the ability to run Unreal Engine 5, as it was demoed at Gamescom last year behind closed doors at an event, and according to the sources at VGC, that's what they report. So it does sound like a crazy big bump in terms of visual fidelity, and with a plethora of games to play, especially first-party games, because we all know those look the best on the system. Can't wait to see what Nintendo has in store for us and all the Nintendo fans. But don't get your hopes up too high, as Nintendo Switch 2 visuals may be comparable, but that does not mean the specs will be in the same ballpark, as the Switch 2 demo was believed to be running on Nvidia's DLSS upscaling. The technology is expected to be a major feature of the custom Nvidia chip, and leakers said the power of the Switch 2, Digital Foundry has taken a deep dive into the chipset and discussed how DLSS DLSS can be used to upscale native 720p visuals to 4K, among other things. So Nvidia and Nintendo has had a partnership. They've been using the chips in the Nintendo Switch 1, and if Nvidia could get DLSS running on the Nintendo Switch 2, we will be in for some way better visuals on the Switch 2, as DLSS is very powerful. It looks so much better than native what you're running. The upscaling technology in that is pretty good, and if they could get that over to the Switch 2, it's going to be beautiful. In terms of raw horsepower though, it is thought on paper that the Switch 2 could be closer to the specs of last year hardware like the PS4 and the Series S rather than the consoles that we have currently in this generation. And I'm not going to harp on specs too much with Nintendo Switch 2, because we do know that Nintendo has famously had weaker hardware consoles in the past, but the games that they're able to output and the experiences that they're able to give people with their consoles is unmatched in the gaming community. That's why Nintendo is mostly on their own at the side. They don't really compete with PS5 or Xbox in my eyes. So this is really good for Nintendo Switch, getting DLSS, ray tracing, all these new technologies going to make Mario look beautiful, and moving into the design and features of the console. So it is expected to be a hybrid console just like the Switch 1 that can once again be played in portable mode or docked. However, fans are hoping the next gen console will come with an upgraded display like the Switch OLED, but may be left disappointed because according to VGC, the Switch 2 could have an LCD screen instead of OLED to help cut costs. Bloomberg also backed up these claims, and it said with the Switch 2 have an 8-inch LCD screen. In comparison, the original Switch features a 6.2-inch LCD screen, so that is a huge improvement. You get a way bigger screen. Opting for an LCD panel instead of OLED will give Nintendo extra wiggle room in the budget that could be set aside and used to add internal storage or other features. Elsewhere, VGC also reports that the next Nintendo console will come with a cartridge slot for physical games. It was later reported that this not only means Switch 2 would be backward compatible, but developers will also be able to offer enhanced versions of older games besides physical games. It's thought that digital games will also be backwards compatible, and getting upgrades for older games does seem pretty cool. I don't know if they'll charge for it or what, but in terms of other features, the Switch 2 could come with upgraded Joy-Cons that may make stick drift a thing of the past. Last year, Nintendo filed a patent for new controller design, which features Hall effect joysticks. Unlike other setups, these use magnets to detect movement and don't cause wear and tear on the stick sensor. This makes it much more robust and durable throughout playing your Mario Kart or whatever you're doing. And while these controllers are third party, they do work really well, and Nintendo finally getting a first party option that comes straight out the box that's way more robust, more durable, does seem like a win to me. And let's talk about some Switch 2 games, because one key topic for the Switch 2 that hasn't received too many leaks is the console's potential games lineup. And as previously mentioned, during Behind Closed Doors at Gamescom, the enhanced version of Breath of the Wild was showcased along with The Matrix Awakens. The souped up version of Breath of the Wild could just be a demonstration of the enhanced backwards compatibility, but Nintendo did say the successor will be capable of handling Unreal Engine 5, and that gives us a really good idea of the kind of potential games that will be coming through Unreal Engine. And VGC has reported that dev kits for the Switch 2 are already in the hands of key partners, so games could already be in the process of getting ported over. And it's also been claimed that a PS5 quality version of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is powered by Epic's Unreal Engine 4 engine and is up and running on the Switch 2 dev kit. Another Unreal Engine game that could make its way to Switch 2 is Hi-Fi Rush, which is one of the first few Xbox games to go multi-platform. And speaking of Xbox, it looks like the next mainline entry in the hugely popular Persona series could be heading to the Series X, S, and to the Switch 2, along with PlayStation. But in terms of potential first-party releases for the Switch 2, none has really been super confirmed right now, and there's just a whole bunch of speculation. But a huge contender for Switch 2 may be Metroid Prime 4. Samus's highly anticipated new adventure was announced during the original Switch first year, but news on the project has gone quiet ever since Nintendo announced development has been rebooted. Retro Studios, the makers of the original trilogy, have taken the reins of the project, which originally was helmed from Bandai Namco. We previously discussed that the possibility of Metroid Prime 4 coming to the Switch 2, along with what we know about the console. Also, Pokemon Legends Z and A was announced during Pokemon's presence on Pokemon Day 2024. What's interesting about that reveal is in the new game, the futuristic version of Lemoy City is a Game Freak and will have simultaneously worldwide release on Nintendo Switch systems in 2025. But the way they worded it made it seem like it will be a cross-gen game and also a Switch 2 launch title, so this does seem pretty exciting for the Pokemon fans. But honestly, the Switch 2 does seem to be a really good bump in performance compared to the Switch 1, as the Switch 1 was only as powerful as the Wii U, maybe a bit more powerful than the Wii U, but the Switch 2 is comparable with the PS4, and with the performance of Nvidia's DLSS, if they can get that fully running on the console, visuals are going to be so crisp and so beautiful on these games. Upscaling 720p to 4K and getting to do this docked at your TV does sound like a fun experience. I really want to pose this question to you guys. What do you guys think of the Switch 2? Do you guys play docked mode or in handheld mode most of the time? How do you feel about the bumps in performance, the specs? I've been Barry Games. I really appreciate you watching this video all the way through to this point. If you're here, don't forget to smash that like button and hit that subscribe bell, as I probably have more videos that you would like. Thank you so much for watching this video. And as always, have a great day.